What is up, everybody? I am so excited to be here today to talk to you guys about an unbelievable super regional that I can't wait to watch. It's all starting on Friday, and that is Little Rock and Troy going to be playing at Troy. I mean, who the hell would have thought that Troy and Little Rock are the two teams playing in this super regional? I mean, it's unbelievable to be honest. I mean, two great stories. Little Rock, after last year, what happened with LSU, the fact that they were able to bounce back, perform well, win that super tough, what was it, Hattiesburg Regional against Southern Miss, Virginia, and Jacksonville State. And the fact that Troy was able to go in, take down Florida on the Sunday, take down Florida again on the Monday. That's after they took down Miami on day one. I mean, they've had an unbelievable weekend. So has Little Rock. It's just been crazy. Now, look, the reality is, I do think Troy had a better regular season, even though they went, I think, 32 and 29, I want to say. They were playing in the Sun Belt, a pretty tough conference. They had some pretty decent conference wins. Of course, some losses in there as well. But when you're playing just solid competition every single week, I think it makes things a lot easier come tournament time. And clearly, I mean, Troy, the tough teams that they played throughout the season ended up making things a lot easier come tournament time when they were able to play Miami really well. They were able to play Florida twice really well on the road. I think the reality is just being able to take on tough teams throughout the season makes things so much easier in the tournament. And that's why they were able to play so well. By the way, I'm sorry. I've watched so much baseball this weekend. I completely forgot that Miami beat Troy in day one, and Troy ended up beating Ryder to get back into things. Whatever. Sorry about that. They ended up beating him later, regardless, which brought them into that Florida series. But I think regardless, it showcases more because the fact they were able to go on a what was it, a 2 day stretch where they beat Florida, Miami, or Miami, Florida, Florida. Unbelievable stuff. Troy's a great team. I mean, like seriously, like Troy is a really good team. They played a really tough regional, and the fact they were able to get out of it is crazy. And look, I mean, I'm not going to say Little Rock is fraudulent. I don't think Southern Miss, they were worthy of a host, but I don't think they were an unbelievable team by any means. The fact is, like, beating the number one seed, it's good. Southern Miss, whatever. So, I still, shout out to Little Rock regardless. I will say though, Southern Miss being done on day two, the fact they had to play, Jacksonville State in the regional final, like Little Rock didn't have the toughest path, even though it was really tough regional. They had to play, 45 win Jacksonville State team. It's not like it was, that tough of their pathway compared to how tough the regional was. Whereas I think Troy, the regional wasn't that tough, but they had to play some really good teams multiple times in like a super short span of time. And I think you guys kind of could have guessed it the way I've been talking about these teams, but I'm going to go with Troy to win this regional. I think that the reality is they played so many tough teams throughout the regular season. They played so many tough teams throughout the regional. They're so battle tested. And I'm sure that after seeing what Little Rock did last year, being competitive, this year, I mean, they were like 36 and 26, I think. They weren't amazing or anything, but, they were a decent team. They turned heads. Obviously, last weekend they turned heads. Troy is not going to be expecting a trash team. They understand, Little Rock's a decent little team. Little Rock wants Omaha more than anything. But what Troy needs to understand is they need to want Omaha that much more, and they need to take this Little Rock team seriously because this Little Rock team is good. But the reality is, I think that Troy, they're so much more battle tested. They weren't that much worse in the regular season. And the way that they played on Sunday and Monday, how can I not pick them? Right? I mean, Troy, you could pick against some of, any of the top teams in the country right now based on the way they've been playing ball these last couple of days. So yeah, I do think Troy is the better team in the series. And for Troy, having Jimmy Janicki as their power hitter, as their top guy, I don't think Little Rock really has anybody, super good on the mound that's able to stop him. I mean, you could say the same thing with Little Rock and Angel Cano, right? But regardless, I think that Janicki, what he's been able to prove, I think it's more than Cano. The fact that he's done against tougher competition as well, makes sense. And it's gonna be a high scoring weekend. I think, both teams' offenses are pretty good. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a couple like 10-9 type of games. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of hitting, a lot of offense. I think if we're talking just most fun series, this actually might be the most fun series to watch this weekend. So yeah, guys, that's gonna do it. I mean, this is gonna be an unbelievable series. I literally cannot wait for this series. It's going to be insane. Both teams have so much to prove, so much to win. Going to Omaha is going to be insane. I'm going to Omaha for a day in, like throughout the middle, what is it? Some, elimination game that decides the top four, I think. But regardless, I mean, I'd love to see either Troy or Little Rock here. That'd be such an unbelievable, achievement for their school. And yeah, I mean, that's gonna wrap it up. If you guys want to see more content, make sure to follow the page. I'm doing super regional previews for every single team, Omaha previews, reactions to games. Make sure to stay tuned if you want the best college sports content on the planet.